Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Israeli Prime Minister on the current regional situation. He conveyed India's concern over the recent developments, stressed the safety of the civilians, and said that there is a need for early cessation of the hostilities that is in fact underway. So we're learning that the Prime Minister has spoken to the Israeli Prime Minister. In the last 24 hours, in fact, Prime Minister has also spoken with, in fact, other leaders of the nations that have been attacked. And the focus is on conveying the message as far as the safety of civilians is concerned. The need for early cessation of the hostilities there is also concerned. So that's the recent conversation that we're learning that has happened between the Prime Minister and this time with the Israeli Prime Minister over the recent developments.
All right. So all of these developments that have been taking place as far as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is concerned, remember 48 hours ago, he was very much present there in Israel. And this seems to be a development that has now happened as far as this conversation that happened with his Israeli counterpart. But let's talk about the Cabinet Committee on Security, this key CCS meeting that happened when Prime Minister arrived later in the night to Delhi. And this meeting happened under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister to review the evolving situation that is happening currently in West Asia for us. So Akansha will take us through, as far as the security meeting is concerned, what are the details that we've accessed?
All right, so we're learning that this crucial meeting took place last night around 9:30. Let me take you through the statement that is coming from the government. The Cabinet Committee on Security, that is CCS, met this evening under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister to review the evolving situation in West Asia. The committee was briefed on the airstrikes on Iran on 28th of Feb and the subsequent escalation, including attacks on several Gulf countries. It expressed serious concern over the safety and the security of the large Indian community that is living in that region. The CCS also reviewed the difficulties faced by the Indian travelers transiting the region and students appearing for the examination, as well as the broader implication for the regional security in the economic and commercial activities as far as the Gulf and Iranian-Israel region is concerned. The CCS directed all the concerned departments to take action, feasible measures to assist the Indian nationals affected by the developments. It underscored the importance of the early cessation and the return to dialogue and diplomacy. So this remains the focus of this entire statement, and the focus remains on dialogue and diplomacy, Amita.
Absolutely, because as far as the Gulf nations are concerned, you know, Colonel Rathod, we are looking at almost nearly over 90 lakh as far as Indian citizens who have been residing there. And Prime Minister Modi has condemned the attacks that have happened on the UAE. We're getting this information as far as the CCS role and in question is concerned. What do you believe would be India's point of view here? Because India continues to stress for dialogue and diplomacy.
We are really concerned about the safety and security of Indians stranded there. And in fact, India has raised through this CCS meeting a very valid concern of the South Asia. There are Pakistanis, there are Nepalese, there are Bangladeshis, there are Sri Lankans, all working there. So at least we have raised a very valid concern there, and I think there may be a cessation of hostility we demand, so that the people who are stranded in the airports, they are taken out from there. How long can they stay there? And if something happens like this 4 weeks or 5 weeks of war, then what will happen? As you said, that there are 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs Indians stranded there and working there. So this is a major issue. We have a humanitarian problem at hand. So our concern is very genuine, and I think we are making an effort. You set aside the economic problems, economic hardship which India is going to face. But for the time being, we must address this humanitarian crisis which is building up.
Absolutely, because 9 million Indians live in that area, in that region, and that is why the security and safety is quite important. India has put the focus on diplomacy and discussion as far as the entire issue and the conflict in West Asia is concerned. Thanks so much for all the details. Stay on with us.